Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to some Mirren Shining. So, with the news today of Mourinho being sacked, we're going to discuss where Mourinho goes from now and what Manchester United are going to do going forward.
Well, I think the best thing for Mourinho would be to have some time off.
I think he could do with 6 months or a year off.
Yeah.
Maybe next season get a job. Maybe go back to Inter, somewhere where he's liked, so he'll be given more time.
Yeah.
He'll feel a bit more cosy.
I think if you rushed into another job now, it just, I don't know, his name's been a bit sullied, hasn't it? I think by this whole
He's done it
kind
to
of,
himself, though, hasn't he? Really, I think.
Yeah.
His press conference and stuff are all a bit fucking crazy. It's all the big I am, isn't it? Really, and
He's come across as having a bit of a breakdown, hasn't he?
Yeah, it
A
seems
little
like he's had a bit of a breakdown.
I think the fact he stayed in a hotel for 2.5 years was really weird.
really partridge.
It is a bit
Yeah,
harsh.
it is, isn't it? Yeah, how
He's got
many
his plate.
mini soaps do you think he's got? I mean, that kind of screams unsettled, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It screams kind of, if he was thinking of it long term, 5 years plus, you're not going to stay in a hotel for 5 years.
It is weird. I don't really know what if he's given a reason for it. That's a long time to be staying in a hotel. It's strange.
Imagine with the amount of money he's got, he could quite easily afford a Barrett's home.
I know, yeah. 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah.
A nice detached.
Yeah, he's got to have a break now. He's got to, I think, like you say, Inter seems a natural one. I know they were already sniffing about before this whole sort of news came out. So, yeah, I think at the end of the season, probably.
I think if he goes to any kind of club in Europe, like a big-ish kind of club, I think his style of football's it's too far behind everyone else. They look at how like Napoli play and like Juve play and whatever.
Yeah, it might just be though that he can get some of that back. That he can kind of. I mean, some teams don't play amazing football, like Atletico Madrid don't play particularly good football, but they're still well respected and their fans love Simeone. I think fans will forgive you to a point if you're getting
winning,
results.
yeah.
That's the thing. So when the two go hand in hand, when it's shit football and you're not getting results, it's just horrible, isn't it?
I mean, he did win 2 trophies in his first season at Man United. You know, the Europa League that season was actually quite an achievement, really. He beat some good teams to get to.
His win percentage is better than Klopp's.
Yeah.
Since he took over.
Well, Klopp's not won a trophy yet. No,
that's true. Yeah.
So his win percentage is very close to Ferguson's
for
Man United.
Really?
It's the second best in their history. I think
Although
Ferguson's.
having said that,
Of course, yeah. And it was just rapidly dropping in this season.
I know.
But yeah, I think like Ferguson's was like 59.7%. His is like 58.3. Matt Busby 50. Sack of shit. Why is he so highly rated?
Yeah.
I just feel like if he's, I don't know, he's behind the other managers. I totally agree with that. But is it because his just tactics are rubbish, or is it because he's just had a marred this season and he's just decided to throw the toys out of the pram?
It's definitely not helped the structure of the club at United, really. They gave him a new contract. He said us that I need a couple of players, and they just said no. So like, well, you spit your dummy out of that, don't you? Really, you either back me or you don't. Really.
Yeah.
But
it seems like they've kind of half-backed him. I mean, they have given him a lot of money.
400 million.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was obvious they did need to spend a bit more than they did, I think, this summer. So it is kind of like, I don't think it's fully his fault. He's not helped things at all. I think his tactics do seem a bit outdated. The way he's become has become a bit of a laughing stock.
He consistently falls out with the star players. He did it at Chelsea with Hazard.
Yeah.
Falls out with Pogba. I think that a lot's to do with the fact that he just likes to be centre of attention.
Oh,
and he likes to have all the attention on him. And a player like Pogba is his worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Because he's everything that Mourinho hates, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a media mogul. You know, he's a walking haircut. Great footballer.
Yeah.
But he's always going to fall out with Mourinho. And I think not playing him on Sunday against Liverpool was...
When they looked as bad as they did,
Yeah.
it's like you're making a point, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it's not a very good point.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it showed Mourinho off as exactly how I see him, which is toys out of the pram, angry manager.
Yeah.
Seems to have just lost him. You know, I think you saying the breakdown thing is pretty much nail on the head, really.
I think there is a good chance the game's passed him by, but I don't think it's 100%. It might just be that he can do a good job against somewhere else.
What do you reckon if he just went and had a few years like somewhere like China or whatever? Somewhere out of the spotlight a little bit.
He needs the spotlight, Mourinho.
Yeah.
He'd hate it in China because he just wouldn't have the press on him all the time.
Yeah, and it'd sort of be the end for him as well because the quality there obviously isn't that good yet, so he'd be falling behind all the time, all the other top managers that are doing the business in Europe. I think he wouldn't then be able to come back and just kind of slot back in. I think that would be his retirement, basically. He would just have to see out his career there.
We've mentioned, I think, in another video, haven't we, about him taking over potentially Portugal.
Yeah, that might happen.
Yeah, again, I don't know whether he needs the week in, week out attention. I think not having that all the time might be a bit, I don't know, galling for him.
Yeah.
It's a future quiz question, isn't it, about the last player he signed at Man United before he got sacked?
Fred, wasn't it?
No. Gaz? Who was the last player he signed at Man United?
No idea.
Not Dalot.
No.
They're the only two players they signed in the summer.
Lee Grant.
Oh, was it Lee Grant?
Yeah.
That's why it all went wrong.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So, Manchester United then, what are they going to do going forward? They've already said caretaker to the end of the season. Then
Carrick's in charge for 2 days.
I know.
Why bother?
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
I know, yeah. If they suddenly become world beaters.
In 2 days without having a
Yeah.
game. Solskjaer's odds have been cut that dramatically that it seems like it's going to be him, which is a bit of a risk.
It's a massive risk. I think that's the argument of legend over skill.
Well, that's one of Man United's problems, I think. They're so kind of enclosed with themselves, isn't it? They're all about the legends, like the class of 92 and or whatever. Yeah, they kind of... The fans want it all to be in-house all the time, and to be fair, they've got a reason to want it, because when they've appointed outside of it, they've not really come up with
Yeah, but they
results.
just haven't appointed very well, have they?
No, I think that's the state of United's upper management, though. Really, there's, you know what I mean. There's no director of football. There's no. It's all like a commercial brand, isn't it? Really, and that's not helped Mourinho, I don't think, at all.
But yeah, Solskjaer seems a risk. I mean, I guess what they want is Pochettino, isn't it? In the summer, I think that's what they're hoping to do, is just get somebody that's gonna give them the feel good factor for a bit until the end of the season, but somebody that's not so high profile that they won't mind then just stepping aside for Pochettino if they can get him in the summer.
Likely to go though?
It's kind of a win-win for whoever takes over at the minute. If he does brilliantly, then you've raised your levels. You start, you can go to another club. You're in for a shout somewhere else. You've done a good job. If it goes badly, you can say the damage has already been done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the sacking of Mourinho in the first place was to save the fact that there was surely going to be a mass exodus in Jan. Yeah, I imagine they'd have lost a lot of players, so it was kind of damage kind of limitation, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't kind of give him Champions League fixture.
I thought he was just going to limp on until they were out of Europe.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it suddenly... I mean, it can't be that much of a shock because they've been shit.
Yeah.
But I was slightly surprised that they did it now. I thought they might just try and make a point that they're not a sacking club by letting it kind of limp along just in case they had a good European run. But I think the idea is just to give it someone that's going to put smiles back on people's faces. Sooner says, give it Roy Keane long term. Jesus, wet.
I know. It was loads of... There's crying out for Scholes, Gary Neville, Giggs. Again, all of these,
It's all in-house, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Nicky Butt's been mentioned, hasn't he? He's done all right. Is he their reserve manager?
I think so, yeah.
If any of these were just until the end of the season, then I could understand it, because, it's like is this going to make people feel better about the club for a bit, but not long term, it seems. Just get a proven manager.
Like, one of those kind of, like, heroes comes back to the club, like Solskjaer or like Nicky Butt again, and they do worse? I mean, that's surely...
Well, this
That's
is why
the
I
worst case scenario.
It's hard to do much worse.
This is why I never fully believed that legends would make a good manager, especially not in the circumstances Manchester United are at the moment. If a legend, I mean, Laurent Blanc, I know he's not a legend at Manchester United, but his name's kind of been banded around as a temporary manager. But I think in terms of someone like Solskjaer, Giggs, all these, they're coming into a club that's quite poisonous at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the right time for them. There might be a time where an absolute legend of the club is flying high in management, and it's the perfect time to take them on. At the moment, I'd go for someone like Hiddink.
Yes,
he's already proven as a caretaker manager what he can achieve, what he did at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But Manchester United don't seem... Well, Wenger's been
Wenger
ruled
would be
out.
fun, wouldn't it?
He's been ruled out though already. I'd love
But
that.
just because if he happened to do really well, it would just piss Mourinho off so much that it'd just be worth seeing.
Won the Champions League for this season. But.
The thing is with Wenger, he's so attack heavy in his philosophy. He doesn't really bother about defending that much. You feel like, well,
the Man United fans would probably like that.
They would like that for a bit, and they're top heavy anyway going forward. That's where all their quality is, and they look like they're going to be a bit shit at the back anyway. So maybe they need a manager who's going to go fuck it. we'll just try and win 5-4. And like you say, the fans will love it. It might be a disaster, but if it happened, it would be pretty funny.
Did you see the list of kind of bullet points that Manchester United released earlier with what they're looking for in a new manager? And it was really obvious bullet points, but it was things like, togetherness of a club. There was one which was keeping the Manchester United attacking style, bringing through young academy players.
Yeah,
that's quite a fucking middle finger at Mourinho, isn't
That's,
it? All of these things were the things that he wasn't really doing.
But that's what Man United have struggled with the last few years, is they've not had an identity. They had that massive identity when Fergie was there.
Fergie left him in shit shape.
He didn't, but that just showed how good he was when he left.
Oh yeah, without doubt, but he knew. I still think he knew what he was doing when he was leaving. He didn't.
He didn't really plan for the next manager.
Their big signing for Moyes was Zaha, wasn't it? Around that time, that was that kind of like, he's going to go push on and be a great player, and he's a good player. But he didn't leave them with any absolute classic players, did he? He kind of left at a time and went, Moyes can
bring Darren Fletcher.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, all of those points I've raised there, a legend, will know the club inside out and will know all of those points.
But sure, that's just a blueprint for any club.
Well, yeah,
though,
I mean,
I
thought
not
just read them earlier.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not rocket science, is it?
Yeah.
I just feel like
it wouldn't happen in any other industry. Any other massive multi-million, multi-billion pound industry, that you need someone at the very top of your job. You need someone to come in as a manager and just employ someone that was popular. Yeah. Or that cleaner that everyone liked a few years ago. Let's make him managing director of our multi-million pound company. Like, it just doesn't happen in anything else other than football.
And as well, like, you don't get fucking paid off for being shit either, do you? Like, how many times you just be like, cheers, thanks James, see you later. Yeah. It's £22 million for being absolutely shit.
Okay.
It's like, happy Christmas. Yeah, I'm sure he's upset in sort of respect of integrity, but surely £22 million buyout.
How long do you reckon it will be until he comes out and slags off people at United? He's kind of done that.
He's kind of already doing it in a way, wasn't he, before he got sacked, but
he won't be able to help himself. Stuff will start coming out.
It won't be his fault. It'll be
he's really good friends with Pochettino, isn't he?
Apparently,
so I imagine he'll probably do the whole kind of, it's a shit club, don't go there, it's awful, and I expect it's Pochettino at the end of the day. But
I mean, they are kind of like I would say an exciting prospect, obviously a huge prospect to take over.
Oh yeah.
You take over a Man United, they're going to throw money at it. We know this, right? You can't do pretty much any worse than what's been happening the last few seasons. Well, you probably can, but it'd be hard to with them.
I wouldn't say the last few, though. I'd just say this season. Because last season, obviously, they were punching above the weight to finish second.
Yeah.
The season before, 2 trophies, you can't really kind of...
True.
Swing punches at that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more the style of football, wasn't it, than the actual results, until this season where both have been bad.
Yeah.
I think Pochettino, I could understand it either way. I could understand him, especially as he's going into a new stadium at Tottenham, wanting to stay and carry on that project, and everyone just loves him there as well, and he's got full control. But I could also understand him thinking he's probably taken them as far as he can, go to a club where he can spend hundreds of millions more than he is doing, and actually have a chance of winning the big prizes.
Minus 29 million, isn't he?
Yeah, which is incredible.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that is just nuts, isn't it? Really, in terms of what's Mourinho spent.
He spent 400
million.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's he ticks all the boxes, doesn't he, for what they want. Even I think that part of the reason they've put out that bullet point is probably like Poch. Has to look a bit like this. Poch's face.
Has to have a Paul grasp of English when he first comes to England. So, who do you think then? Caretaker, full-time manager.
Who it should be, or who it will be?
Who it should be.
I think Wenger would be a really fun choice. Because I think he's never really slagged off. He's never really slagged off Man United either. I kind of feel like he's got respect for the club and the club. I know they were like rivals for a long time, but I feel like there's a mutual respect there. It's not like a really hated person. Yeah. I just think it would be really good fun. And like you say, there's not much that can go wrong. And he would guarantee to be trying to play open attacking football. Yeah. So straight away the fans would be on his side. I think it'd be. And it'd just be hilarious to see Mourinho if it went well.
But like Benitez when he went to Chelsea.
That's it,
yeah.
And if he was out of a job, I'd probably say he'd be in for a good shout there.
Hiddink, like you say,
Hiddink it's got to be my choice.
Conte, but I don't know if he brings a lot of the problems that Mourinho does.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he'd work as an interim manager as well.
Who about full-time manager?
I think Pochettino.
It's got to be Pochettino.
Yeah, I mean he seems like the ideal person for it.
Are we ruling out Zidane?
He's
No idea how good he is.
exactly.
No
yeah.
idea.
I mean, he did take on an absolutely amazing team. Yeah, but winning 3 Champions Leagues is pretty
unheard of,
special.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just no idea how good he is. But one thing for certain is he would command respect straight away, especially like Pogba and Martial. I imagine they hero worshipping him,
Yeah.
so immediately they'd be
Yeah.
wanting to put the yards in.
I think Pochettino could go in the summer, dependent on what Tottenham do in Jan. Because realistically, if you're Tottenham's owners, you're going to desperately want to spend in Jan to keep.
Well, they're
him,
going to be
aren't
shitting themselves, aren't they?
you? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
He's in a great position now. He can say, "Fancy giving me like 300 million to spend."
Yeah.
But they're probably not in a position to with the new stadium, especially when it's gone over budget, gone over time, and everything.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
Yeah,
really?
but I think they'll give him maybe not in January because it's a difficult time to get players anyway. But I can see them saying to him, "Right, we'll give you what you want in the summer." It probably won't be like 300-400 million because I don't think they'll be able to afford
No,
that.
but
they
better
might be
than
able
nothing.
to push the boat out to say one.
If
150
Pochettino
million
did
or
go,
something.
would he take a influx of Tottenham players? Do you think like Kane?
I think he'd find it difficult.
I
Like,
think he'd find it difficult.
Daniel Levy's quite a harsh
He
negotiator, isn't he? I think he
Yeah.
might be already licking his wounds a bit and know how bad it'll look if he then takes the crop of players as well.
About Ericsson, you'd love that. Buy a Man United shirt there.
I
Ericsson,
probably
love
would.
that,
Yeah.
I think he'd actually be more likely to go Ericsson
Yeah.
than Kane or
They're kind of
Dele
missing a
Alli.
player like Ericsson at the moment, aren't they? A
Yeah.
real sit in the
Yeah.
middle of the park. Well, I suppose Pogba does that, but doesn't get paid enough. But
Yeah, I mean they've got a good squad though, on the United. That's it. Like Mata's not a bad player, you know. And Pogba's obviously worth his money. He was paid that money for a reason.
They need another defensive midfielder. I
I think
think.
they're just a confused squad from what I can
Yes.
tell. They've got lots of players that don't seem to be not sort of working together, but don't seem right on the team sheet. You've got like Fellaini's playing alongside like Martial's, and you've got it doesn't seem very well balanced.
And players we don't know, like we don't know how good Fred is. He
Yeah.
might be brilliant,
Yeah.
but he's just come in at a time where everything's gone so wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
Pep really wanted him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pep really wanted Fred, so he must have something about him.
Well, Mourinho said he didn't want to play him until he had the players that he wanted alongside him to play. Seems like a weird thing
Yeah.
to do.
Very odd.
I feel like he bought him just to stop Pep buying him.
Probably.
It feels like the sort of thing Mourinho would do, but it seems unfair on Fred, doesn't it, to come to a new country and then barely get a play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. I think that was Mourinho's problem with like Pogba. Like, kind of slagged him off for not doing the things he wanted to. But when you bought him, what he does, build the team around him, get somebody
Yeah.
alongside him to make him be able to do what he's good at.
Yeah.
Don't try and make him be something that he isn't.
Yeah, there's so many scapegoats, and yet to me, Matic has been a big part of the problem. His numbers have just like plummeted in the last couple of years into tackles and interceptions and everything, and he's meant to be the one that gives them that solid base. I think if they had somebody doing that role, then people like Pogba and Mata and Lingard would be able to flourish a lot more.
More attacking positions, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If there was somebody doing the job properly of Matic, then the other players wouldn't have them to be doing as much.
Yeah.
And they'd have a more solid base to actually attack from.
I think in terms of a caretaker manager, there will be an instant response just in the fact that there must be so much negativity.
Oh yeah.
Especially around the young players who get slagged off week in, week out. Regardless, I think, of what manager comes in, I still think there's going to be a climbing kind of,
Oh yeah, you
performances.
could put Pardew in charge, and if things are still going to improve, just because the players are going to be like, "Oh, the shackles are off, thank God that's over with." And like,
They've had a bit of an injury crisis, haven't they? Recently, United. How much do you reckon that's down to players not wanting to play?
there might be a bit of that, like slight niggles becoming exaggerated.
Yeah. But it's definitely,
If you'd be surprised, who have they got next? They've got like Cardiff next or something.
they've got
haven't
actually
they?
like a run of 5 games against
quite-
lower
yeah,
teams, haven't they? They've
quite
got Huddersfield
easier
at home.
fixtures.
Do you think that's
Bournemouth
to
at
do with the
home.
timing? Do you think they've kind of sacrificed Mourinho a bit?
And
Get
then-
these hard games out of the way, then sack him, so the new manager's got a nice, easy
Yeah,
smooth
he
start
could win
to, like-
5 on the bounce. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
and
and
it's
it'd be
gonna
like
feel good.
Yeah, that's
Especially Christmas is such a kind of, really
frantic,
like packed in sort of fixtures. Yeah, it does feel like it's the right time, definitely.
It's a bit weird though, it coming into January. If it's an interim manager, are they going to allow him to have any say on signings?
yeah.
Or are they just going to say, we're going to get through to the season with what we've got, not really buy anyone, unless like a bargain that you can't turn down crops up, just go through with what we've got until the end of the season? Because an interim manager might come in, especially if it's someone with a bit of experience like Hiddink or somebody like that, might be saying, well, you've kind of got areas here and here that need improving.
Yeah.
So can I get
2
so and
players or
so?
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll be
Just
like,
give me
well,
2
you're not really
players.
the manager.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, it's a bit weird, isn't
It's
it?
quite a hard job to go into, really, if you think about it, isn't it? Because it's almost no win, but then also on the flip side,
it's kind of no lose.
No
really.
lose, yeah. You know, you can't really do much worse than Mourinho. I mean, the performance against Liverpool was just abject. It was awful.
Yeah, it has been in most of the big games this season.
Yeah, it looked like a man just not even devoid of ideas. It looked like a man had given up to me.
Well, I mean, that's what he's always done, though, in the big games, is try and not lose them as opposed to win them, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but they've looked better at doing that in the past. That's the thing. Even though it's been boring to watch, they've just not looked like they're going to concede. Mourinho's teams in the big games, whereas now they constantly look like they're edge of conceding.
Well,
it's
they
not
conceded
like
at 29, isn't it? Which is one more goal than they conceded
in the whole of last season.
Yeah.
Well, that's mainly just because De Gea had like the best season anyone's ever had.
Yeah. Although there's nothing you can really do at the moment. You know, I mean,
it's not like he's making mistakes or anything, is it? Like that?
No,
his
really.
performances have probably dropped off a bit, but only because they were like ridiculously, unsustainably high anyway.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? For a new manager to come in, the first thing you want to do is keep De Gea.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have a manager with a really good kind of, you know, frame of what's going to happen in the future. You don't want a manager to come in and go, yeah, we'll get rid of him, because there's not many keepers that could replace him.
No.
You know, so the new manager's got to come in straight away, keep the basis of players that you've got, and then bring in quality around those players.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job, is it?
No. You've got to build the confidence. Like Lukaku's looked awful this season.
His first
Really
touch.
He looks really bad.
There's a few videos online of like they're just showing all of his first touches.
Yeah.
Games. It's
Awful.
pretty
Well, last season he
painful
scored nearly 30 goals, didn't he? So he's got ability.
Yeah. Rashford's another one as well.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit like, is Rashford going to be world class, or is he just going to be another Sturridge and Welbeck?
I think under
he'd be better
Mourinho
than Welbeck.
he was never going to improve, was he? Really?
No.
Well, no, his treatment of young players is sort of notoriously bad, isn't it?
I mean, how Luke Shaw didn't just walk out of the club. The amount of times that he just humiliated him. It wasn't even just kind of saying things about it. It was actually, you know, bullying him, really, wasn't it? You know, when there was that bit where he did the talk on the touchline, wasn't it? And you said like he was playing with his like legs, but I was his head.
Yeah.
That's what a horrible thing to say to a young player.
He's always been a bit like that with young players, hasn't he? I guess the way he works is what he's generally done in his career. When it's worked, he's just come in, had immediate success, and then fucked off after 3 years. So you've not really got time to promote youth players. Even if it's someone who looks like they're going to be amazing in 2 or 3 years, he's probably not bothered about that because he's like, well, you're no good to me now. Yeah. So I don't really give a shit how good you're going to be because I'm going to be leaving then anyway. So he just doesn't seem like he nurtures young talent at all, does he?
Somebody
it's all
asked
about here and now.
Somebody asked Mark Schwarzer today about, because he went to Chelsea, didn't he, towards the end of Mourinho's reign, and they said, has he lost it? Like you were saying earlier, guys, is he behind all the other managers now? Is his tactics gone? And he came out and he said, not at all. You know, his training regimes are absolutely, you know, pinnacle of sport. His team talks are unbelievable. His tactics are great. He said, the only thing I can think of is he's just lost the dressing room a little bit with his kind of negativity. And I think, you know, he could go to another club, like you say, Inter, where he's loved, and he could do a real job there, and he could, you know, I wouldn't even put it past him winning the Champions League again, to be honest with you. I mean, it's the sort of thing he would do, because he came into Manchester United and he won the 2 trophies straight away. I just don't think he'll come back to the Premier League again.
I just don't think it wasn't the right club for him.
No.
I think Man United.
It was at the time when Ferguson was sacked. I think if he'd have gone straight away...
I'm not sure about that. I think coming in, it was probably the right time for him to come in, because they'd had Moyes and Van Gaal and they hadn't performed.
So they were just desperate for success.
But they knew what they were getting when they appointed him. So kind of flip side of the coin, really, isn't it? You know you're going to only get 3 years out of him. He's going to rub people up the wrong way, but he's a winner.
Yeah. You kind of forget that it was only 3 years ago when he won the league at Chelsea? 4 years ago?
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. It kind of seems like we keep saying, he's a spent force, the game's passed him by. But as much as the game does move on, it's only a few years ago he actually won the league. So he can't have... You don't go from being that good to that shit in such a short space of time. It might be the game has kind of caught him up a bit, but I still think there's a job for him somewhere, I think.
He's just kind of gone from the special one when he first came to just being the angry one now. He's just angry
really
all the time.
Irritating
Horrible.
one.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's about
I think
it,
that's
isn't it?
the points we wanted to make, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cheers, thank you very much.